Okay, so this is a recording of the aura effect solutions we have. They're not ideal, but they do cover more of the edge cases than the default option. So solution 1 here, it has an effect, initial temp HP. This grants the temp HP and the rebound temp HP is here as a separate effect. So initial is only applied once when they receive the effect, and then the rebounding is applied every time that their turn starts. So we can see that one here. I'll apply it to the banner. We receive the effects on Marrow and Caroline. So they got their initial temp HP. If they have their temp HP reduced, say to 1, if they are to, then we'll go to the next round. And on their turn, the temp HP is back up to 4. Similar if they lose some temp HP, so they're down to 2 now, and they leave the aura. They will lose the rebounding, but they stay at their current temp HP. Then when they come back in, they will regain the bounding, but they stay at their current temp HP, which is what we're expecting. So then we go to the next round. They're rebounding back up to 4. Caveat of this, there's 2 caveats. If they lose their temp, so we go to 2, and then we leave the aura, we lose the rebounding, but the temp HP is going to stay on indefinitely because we can only get unlimited duration effects from auras. The other caveat is because the initial temp HP is being granted by the aura, if a creature was outside of the aura and then enters it for the first time, they're going to regain that initial 4 even though they are not supposed to in the text of the spell. Or not spell, in text of the feature. So the other way that we have to implement this, I remove this, I do have to remove the initial and the other one. So the other option we have is solution 2. For this, we give them effect that preserves their temp HP. This is 0 temp HP, but it gives Foundry a value to track that says, hey, they have some temp HP. The rebounding is the same as before. It rebounds on turn start. It gets removed on exit. And then with this solution, we also need to assign initial temp HP when they enter, when the commander places their banner. So I would place the banner with the aura effect, and then I, the player, would have to go through and I want to apply the initial temp HP. I just have this as an effect item, but I think if you made it a spell effect, you'd be able to apply it to more than one target at a time. I'm not sure, but I'm just going to apply it one at a time. And then, so now everyone has their initial temp HP, but let me take Ingrid, toggle their combat state. Oh, right, they're part of their pet. We'll use Dusk. Remove their temp HP. So Dusk has no temp HP. We'll go forward around, and they come into the initiative. They come in at the bottom. So we go to Dusk's turn. Dusk enters the aura. They're going to get the preserve and the rebounding effects. They do not receive any temporary hit points initially. They will not receive those until the start of their turn. So we go around, the start of the turn, and now they have the temp HP as expected. So this covers more of the edge cases, pretty much every edge case except that when creatures leave or if the aura goes down, then the temp HP remains on them. We considered this kind of, like, it's not ideal, but it's also not the worst. So they keep the temp HP, but we have an indication here, hey, they're receiving temp HP from the banner. So we use this to kind of, as our indication of, okay, well, we know it's there, we can remove it, and we know to go remove the temp HP. This does require each player to help a little bit, but the rebounding effect is gone. So if we go through the rounds, they're not going to gain any new temp HP. So if they're in combat and they lost it, then that's not really an issue. If they were at 0, they're going to stay at 0. Use Caroline as an example. We'll go forward around. Caroline stays at 0. So it's not ideal because we can't rely on the aura effect to remove it, because when the aura removes temporary HP, it completely removes the temp HP, and you get set to 0, which we don't want. On the plus side, when we remove both effects, it does put us at 0. So that's our option for solution 2. We've decided to use solution 2 because it is more important for us that when a player is entering and exiting, that the temp HP doesn't give them an excess of free temp HP. It doesn't refresh every time. They're not taking, 10 points of temp HP, leaving the aura. The GM doesn't notice. They re-enter the aura. Oh no, now they have max temp HP again. We don't want that. That is, I think, more of an issue than the temp HP lingering if they remain outside for more than a round. And then you can go, okay, it's a new round. You shouldn't have this anymore, and we can clear it. That's a little more obvious and doesn't have a rebounding effect. So that's why we chose to stick with solution 2 here. But either, I think, covers more of the edge cases than the default arrangement right now. They're both a little bit tedious. It might be better to make initial temp HP a spell effect so that you could use the burst tool. But I was not able to figure that out in an evening. So for now, this is what we have at least. Maybe you can come up with something a little better from here.